Hello everybody. Welcome aboard to another live show. Looks good. Okay. And that looks good too. Gonna be okay. Hey everyone, welcome aboard. Hope you will enjoy today's show as usual. So this is the Shortwave show. Yes. And this is a show about radio. It's a show about shortwave radio. It's a show about anything radio, basically. So welcome everybody. Nice to have all of you here. This is a shortwave show. We are here on... Yeah, I'm red. I'm not green, actually. I should have wore some green shirt or something green for the St. Patrick's Day. Absolutely. You were right about that. Didn't think about it. I'm not even sure I got a green shirt or something. So anyways, this is a shortwave show. We are here every Fridays at 2000 hours UTC. And do not be fooled, because for a lot of people they say, hey, it's 1 hour later. Yeah, because we actually moved our clocks ahead in North America, which means we are now an hour difference with UTC, but UTC always stays the same. So that makes our show 1 hour later for a lot of people. Not in Europe, because you guys haven't changed your clocks yet, but you guys will also have that 1 hour later in a couple of weeks from now. So, yep, St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Yeah, it is tomorrow, but, you know, I don't have a show tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to celebrate my birthday at the karaoke bar with about 20 friends of mine, as my birthday is on Tuesday, March the 20th. So I'm having my birthday party tomorrow night, Saturday night, at the karaoke bar with friends. So anyways, nice to have everybody on board. We are here every Fridays, 2000 hours UTC, except the last Friday of the month, where we are usually on the VHF UHF channel, because we talk about scanner radio and chase satellites and whatever. Last time was a lot of fun. We actually kind of just stayed on the airband and talked about the airband, which was really cool. And hope that you guys will enjoy the show today. Hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun. I got really kind of nothing really prepared, I got to say, today. I didn't have much time, and I've got this kind of ache that goes from the neck up to the side here on my, since like yesterday evening. I don't know what I did, but it kind of makes me feel a little weird. So hopefully the beer is going to fix that. So cheers, everybody. So we're going to have it. Thanks, everybody, for the nice birthday wishes. As I'll be 1 year away from that big 50. So I'll be 49 on Tuesday. And so 1 year to that big 50. And got a couple of friends that reached it and said, nah, no difference. Okay. Nice to have everybody here. And of course, there's a great chat room. For those that don't know, if you have a Gmail account, you can join the super cool chat room where there's just tons of great people here. And it's a lot of fun. And, you know, there's just some great people if you have questions and all the thing, you know. And we'll just have fun today. You know, I didn't have time to prepare, and you know, I'm keeping next week. Just want to say that there are 2 shows next week. Tomorrow no shows. Saturday I'm off, but next week on Friday and on Saturday 2 shows. And what I thought that I would be doing is a radio amateur or amateur radio special for Friday. And I'll do a pirate radio special for Saturday. So like that, we'll have 2 kind of special shows focusing on specific aspects of the shortwave hobby. So it will be the amateur radio special on Friday and pirate radio special on Saturday. And hopefully that Saturday will be possibly relayed by some pirates. Who knows? Who knows? So hello everybody. I'm going to say hi to everyone in the chat room. So hey there, Radioactive, and yeah, it's 2000 hours UTC. It's just that We have changed the clocks. David Green, hello there. One amigo in Barcelona, nice to have you here. Nick Amendel from Romania, really nice. There's great propagation today. We have Bobby Burgess, WA5107SWL, PLF Radio, and Bobby Burgess is in Louisiana. PLF Radio in France. Johan Silkins, nice to have you here. Vianney Arsenault, welcome aboard from the east part of the province of Quebec in the Gaspésie area. Bienvenue à bord. Jerry DX, nice to have you here. Blanchard 3, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool to see you here. Chris Freitas, nice to have you on board. Dex Faher 74, nice to have you here. Steve B with Stephen Maxine in Australia, nice to have you here from the other side of the world in a early Saturday morning. David Harden, nice to have you on board. KJ4CMY, nice to have you here in Atlanta. Rob Webster, hello there, nice to have you here. What do we have? Did I miss anybody? William Helms, hey, from Florida, nice to have you here. Richard Cook from the UK, nice to have you on board. Theodore Sears, nice to have you here. Got a question about the Un transformer. I'd like to use a Un transformer as a step-up transformer so I connect coax to my shortwave radio. You got a lot of info on Google if you actually search for that. It's quite easy actually to do it. Maybe some people in the chat room can, you post a link of something that you can actually view that could help you out or answer any questions. If you got more specific questions, Theodore, please do so. Ralph Bender, hello there. Bobby Burgess, nice to have you on board, of course. 741, good afternoon. Nice to have you here. The worst part, Blanchard, is it was not even that. I just, that's when you get close to 50. Well, I guess it can happen anytime, but when you get a little older, just sleeping is enough to break your neck anyways. So, unfortunately. Neil Toombs, M0CJM in Basingstoke, UK. He's programming a Uniden scanner. Oh, cool. That's the tedious task, when you have to do it manually. And you gotta enter and punch in all those frequencies, and you're like, yeah, okay, 75 frequencies for that. Okay. Bill, K3WDR, hello there. Nice to have you here. And what is there? Ronald Mullis, nice to have you here. I will enjoy the beer, absolutely. Rick Rock Ristorante, nice to have you here. SM0SBT from Sweden. Nice to have everyone here, I can tell you that. Can I have that black Atari joystick? Yeah, it's a real original one too. I've got two of them. And it's a real original. And this one works fine. The other one is over there. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to open it up. It has a short circuit in the cabling. So, and what's cool with these old things is they're so easy to fix. You just open them and just fix whatever. They're just old, switches, and that's it. So, yes, I will tune the bands during the show, PLF Radio, absolutely. Zach Antle, nice to have you here. Nothing much yet. We're just starting saying hello with everybody. So, we're going to have a lot of fun, of course. Gary Golin, nice to have you here, Gary. Pretty cool. And really a lot of things. Oh, so it's my computer. Oh, that's not too bad. It's when you do it, really manually, that's the worst. David Arden says 3831 at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Supposed to be NCS, but we may have thunderstorms in the area. But the net will still go on. Have a listen. Yeah, we'll try that, of course. So, so he's going to be net control, basically. Jerry says, mine are all broken. Olympic Games ruined the joysticks. Oh, man, I can tell you. For anyone that knows a game called Decathlon by I think it was Atari that made the game. Decathlon was horrible on the joysticks. especially at 1500-meter run. Oh man, that would break joysticks all the time. Randall Clons, nice to have you here from Northeast Illinois, and pretty cool. And thanks everybody for the birthday wishes for Tuesday. I have a special a request for all of you amateur radio operators. I'll of course repeat this a couple of times during the show. So if you guys are amateur radio operators and operate on HF, okay, on the shortwave bands, what I want to try to do on the amateur radio special Friday is if maybe we could set up a frequency or a set of frequencies where some of you might have contacts on the HF bands, and I can tune it here. Maybe hear some of you talk together, and I think it could be fun. So we'll kind of decide the frequency at the last minute, because obviously we need to kind of know what frequency is going to be free for that time. But think about it, guys. If you want to participate and maybe have a chat between some of you guys, we're going to try to and we'll try to do it in different bands, so that maybe you have a chance at, like the European guys have a chance to talking North American guys, and of course, European guys together, North American guys also. So we'll try different bands. We'll try to do some kind of a schedule of, okay, now let's try to have contacts from North America to Europe and so on. I think it could be a lot of fun. We're going to choose the frequencies as we see the ones that are free. I'm going to try here to tune into some of you guys broadcasting. Hopefully we're going to hear some of you. I think that could be a lot of fun on Friday. So think about it, guys. If you're not set up, or if you're just missing a little thing to be on HF, why not try to do that during the week? I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So think about it, guys. I think on Friday that could be really cool. So radioactive. So next Friday we're going to do that. That would be really, really cool. And I think it would be really nice to have everybody contact everybody, and possibly hear you guys also here. And of course, some of you will have your shortwave radios turned on. Hopefully you guys will also hear some of these of our amateur radio friends. So I think that could be a really cool amateur radio party Friday night. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that. So tell everybody to join in and try to, we're going to try to just have different bands in different types of operations, so that everybody can, do a little something with that. Okay, what else do we have? So Neil Thomas uses HF. That's cool. Jerry says do propagation tests with ham radio operators. That would be cool. Well, we'll have a very, very interesting time, I think, with that, and it's going to be really cool to see, also who we can hear and all of that. So I think it's going to be really, really fun. 741 wants to try to join the HF chat if you can, so that's pretty cool. Hey, Mike DX, nice to have you here. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and and some of us will be able to hear all of you on the bands. So think about it next Friday at the 2000 hours UTC show. And what we're going to do is, I guess some of you might actually, just go on the bands, see what frequencies there's no one to not interfere with anybody, and maybe then come back in the chat, say, okay, and we're going to start with different frequencies. So we're going to okay, I'll be on 20 meters on 14185, and then we'll have everybody that can contact and stay on that frequency for a little while, see if anybody contacts anybody else. And then, we could move on to the 40-meter band. We can try the 80-meter band. We could just try whatever band suitable for whatever region, and try to have people contact each other. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So, and sorry for those that cannot make it next week. But you know, it's not going to be the last one. We're going to do that, and you know what? I think it's going to be so much fun that we're going to actually repeat it regularly. Maybe, you know, maybe we could do a once a month thing about all the amateur radio operators, and you know, we'll try it also on the Saturdays. So one of the Saturday show. Also, if you guys feel that it would be better on Saturday next week, let me know. If more of you are available Saturday for the amateur stuff, we can swap the shows. There's no problem there. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Really a lot of fun. So really cool. Bill K3WDR says we'll do. Radioactive next Friday. Roger. Really nice. That's going to be a lot of fun. David Green says, been a busy shortwave week. Switch my antenna from slope to inverted L so that we can now mow the lawn. Testing has been difficult though with the solar weather. Not sure what's the config and what's the sun. And one thing I gotta be, one thing I want to just say, because a lot of people have been sharing false information this week about a major solar storm, which is totally bogus. It's actually an article that was shared by a lot of people. Kind of somebody took an article from like several years back, did a copy paste, and tried to kind of scare everybody, saying that, you know, it's the end of the world or something, with a huge solar flare and everything. Nope, nothing like that happened this week. The only thing that happened this week is there was a little bit of a gusty solar wind because of the coronal hole on the surface of the sun, and it did create and spark auroras from time to time, but overall it wasn't too bad. So you know, but the low solar flux is creating a huge problem though, because you know the higher frequencies are not that great. Jerry says I should be sobered up by next Friday. Gerald McNeil, nice to have you here. Discovered your channel recently, enjoyed and learning a lot. Thank you for the efforts you put into it, Joe. Thank you very much. And I get regular message from people saying, yeah, this is like, you know, pretty cool, and it's fun to do this, and you know what, it's really nice. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. KC Red Dragon says it could be Saturday. So okay, we'll have a vote. Would most of you be more interested in doing it on Saturday of next week, which would be Saturday, June the 24th? March the 24th. Would Saturday be a better time for all of you? If so, we're going to swap. We're going to do it Saturday, March 24th, 2000 hours UTC. PLF Radio says, how hams know what exact frequency they can use? Well, there's several ways. There's several things. Okay, so it's a mixed bag. Some people can't on Friday, some can. So okay, well, we're gonna just fix it here. Let's do it on Friday this time. Those that can participate will be there, and we'll do it Saturday. We'll repeat that amateur radio special and have contacts on the next Saturday show that we've got, so that maybe, you know, those that couldn't have participated this time around will have participated 2 weeks later. So we'll do a Friday amateur radio special this time around, because I see a kind of a mixed bag of people that can and cannot be there, and we'll repeat it 2 weeks later, but on the Saturday show, and for hopefully those that couldn't do it this time, we'll be there the other Saturday. How about that? That sounds good, right? So PLF radio, the way that hams will choose a frequency is simply by doing a few things. First of all, you got to decide where you want to contact. So if you're in North America and you want to contact Europe, first thing you got to understand and look at is what band is open to Europe. So for example, now maybe the 20 meter band, but maybe the 40 meter band. So you'll look at what frequency you're going to use to Europe. Then you'll have the you know, one amateur radio operator will call on one frequency to actually will ask if the frequency is free, and if nobody replies back, probably means the frequency is open. So they'll know, okay, on that frequency there's nobody. That frequency will be good, say to Europe or whatever, or we have closer contacts, maybe 40 or 80 meters, and we'll actually work that through the night, through the show, changing bands and trying different things. Will be also a very interesting and fun experiment for propagation. And so that's how pretty much they're going to choose a frequency for next week, I gotta say. I think it's going to be cool. So David Snyder, hello there, nice to have you here. What else do we have? Ristorante says the buzzer is S7 in Stockholm, Sweden. Pretty cool. So it's official next Friday, February the 23rd. What am I changing, February or June? I'm completely lost. We're in March. Okay, so next Friday, March the 23rd, we will be doing the amateur radio special. Those that can participate, show up, and we'll try to have contacts. Everybody have contacts together, and we'll try to tune you guys on the HF bands. And we will repeat that show again on Saturday, March 31st, which will be the next, wait a minute, no. Tomorrow there's no show, so it's the Saturday show. Okay, well, it's going to be early April, April 7th, because next week we'll have a show on the 24th for Pirate Radio. So the April 7th show will be the next time that we'll do the amateur radio stuff, but it will be on a Saturday. So for those that couldn't do it next week, March the 23rd, we'll repeat that experiment April 7th, Saturday, April 7th. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So, what else is there in here? Richard Cook's got had WWN 15 megahertz. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. Randall Klon says. Hams get on the air and say, hey, is this frequency in use? And I think that's going to be really, really a lot of fun. I think this is going to be really, really a lot of fun. So we'll have Friday, and then we'll try to do it again on Saturday, April 7th. So for those that couldn't do it this time around, might be able to do it. Basically. Vianney says it's a good idea to introduce a possibility of contacts for ham radio on the band. Will be very funny, really funny. It will be cool, and you know what? It will be cool also because I mean we're in the chat room, people talk to each other, and having you know the same gang that we have here to talk to each other also. You know, I mean we chat on the chat room for a lot of people, but why not? You know. Have contacts for all the amateur radio operators out there. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be really, really cool. Hurricane, nice to have you on board from Slovakia. Nice to have everybody from around the world. It's just so cool. David Green, not surprised about the fake solar reports. I was reading Google News and there was a headline, something massive is about to hit the Earth, and it was about the Soyuz. Yeah, you know, there's also that, I was reading an article this week, there's the Chinese space station that is about to re-enter Earth. And there was a fake news about how, you know, it's dangerous and we're going to all, you know, get hit by that huge debris from the Chinese space station and so on. When in reality, you have more chances of being hit by lightning than by a piece of something falling from the sky, which is kind of funny, you know. So pretty cool. And you know, of course, we'll have to watch with propagation and we'll see what bands are going to use, and you know, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be very, very fun. Theodore Sears says I got two very strong medium wave transmitters near my QVH. It kills all the X stations on medium wave shortwave. Yeah, well, you will need more. What you probably need more is a circuit that will block the medium wave band on your receiver. Because especially if you got some really strong medium wave stations, one of the biggest problems with shortwave radios is the fact that if you put an outdoor antenna, it makes the signal so strong in your radio just goes crazy. Casey Red Dragon says, oh yeah, my neighbor gave me this cheap little no-name shortwave radio on all the shortwave stations. It plays the AM stations near me. Huh. It could be, you know, we'll do a mix, radioactive. We could do a mix. Maybe what we could do, and that would be interesting, voice, digital for those that are capable, and maybe even slow scan TV, if anybody can do slow scan TV. Hopefully we're going to receive somebody. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. So we could do different modes and test it out. You know? I think that's going to be very, very interesting. So, you know, it could be any mode. You know what we'll do is decide of what mode to use at that time. And everybody agrees upon one digital mode. Everybody tries to contact each other on that mode. You know, PSK31. Not, you know, no GT65 or something like that. More like a, you know, PSK31 or radio teletype or even, you know, Olivia or whatever. Some weird modes. Maybe we can even experiment and try to do a cycle of different modes that are almost never used and see the results. That could be a lot of fun also. And would be really, really, really nice, basically. I gotta say. Manny CV, nice to have you here. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So Calvin29, hello there. David Arden is 10 miles from 50 kilowatt WSB, but for some reason it has little effect on me. You know, it also depends on the radio you use. Because if the radio you use is a higher end radio, technically these radios are less prone to being overloaded by strong signals. But small portables are crazy overloaded by these signals. Really crazy. So Mike DX says the Tiangong 1 re-entry is estimated to be April 4th plus or minus 4 days. So something like that. There's always a little, you know, period where you're not really sure, because it all depends on the drag, and there's some, but it's soon to fall down. It's soon to fall back down. Absolutely. Yeah, band reject filter. You want to have a filter that will reject the medium wave band, and plug your radio on that, because a Unum transformer, things like that, will not have any effect on what you're having as a problem right now. What you need is really a band reject filter, as David Arnott's talking about. You want to have a filter that is removing the medium wave band. Like here, I would need, for some of my portables, a filter that removes the FM band. So, you know. Radioactive says, you know, maybe you'll have that meteor scatter. When a Chinese station comes down, maybe there could be some meteor scatter to do. That could be one. Richard Cook, station on 9900, strong signal, terrible audio. That's David. On 9900, usually it's Radio Cairo. And the audio. Nothing here, but the terrible audio usually gives it away also, because it's sad, because Radio Cairo is just, you know, completely. Oh, yes, CW, why not? Absolutely. Absolutely. CW also, absolutely. So, you know, we'll try, you know, let's try to find a logical way of operating and say, okay, for the next, you know, what we could do is like, okay, for the next 30 minutes, this mode and that frequency, and every 30 minutes we would switch into another mode, another frequency, and try different things. But about that, that could be an interesting idea, a very interesting experiment also for amateur radio. And you know, switch the frequencies and try to in different modes. So every 30 minutes we'll try different things. So as not to, because we will need a schedule of how it happens, how things are going to be set up, so that we don't, you know, get a mishmash of everybody's on 50 different frequencies doing 16 different modes. Try to get everybody into the same type of modes. Those that can participate because they can or operate on that mode, they operate. Those that don't have the capabilities, well, you wait for the next 30 minutes where there's going to be a different mode, and of course we'll have voice. That, I think that's important. You know, lower upper sideband. We'll have we'll try CW for those that want. We'll try some digital modes for those that want to have. Heck, if someone wants to try AM mode, because they're capable of doing it, why not? All the possibilities. That'd be very, very nice. And I think that'd be a very, very cool thing. So the only thing we'd have to think about, you know, and when we get to that 30 minutes, everybody would think about a mode, a frequency, and okay, for the next 30 minutes, that's the frequency, and that's the mode used. For the next 30 minutes, if you want to have contacts, and we're going to, you know, and I'll tune these frequencies. Every time we change frequency, change mode, I'll tune the frequency here. I'll fire up whatever software I need to decode your digital mode, and we'll try to get the contacts and see if, you know, we can hear you. I think that's going to be a lot of cool thing. So no, not everyone knows CW. So, you know, we'll see. We'll go with the modes that people, and we'll try to have the most, the biggest amount of people participating. So of course we'll try to choose modes that are the easiest for everybody. And of course, single sideband is a must. That one will be a must. Ernie Turner, nice to have you here. Jerry DX says a big egg roll falling from the star on the port. You know, anyways, the Chinese don't see YouTube, so well, maybe some do, but David Green says yeah, Radio Cairo, absolutely. Matt UK says 9900 here in the UK, very bad audio. I got a little something on 9900, so it's probably coming in up to here a little bit, but unfortunately, you know. Bobby Burgess listened to some CB earlier, and I go through there from time to time. Here, there's I missed out on the post yesterday because we have a boy that's missing. He's been missing for the past few days, and some people report that he's been seen on some in an area of Montreal on some of the security cameras. And yesterday night they were actually doing asking for everybody that want to try to find the kid to, you know, go in a specific area of Montreal. And I didn't see the post early enough because Fastload posted the link on my Facebook and said, hey, we could go there and use our bring our CB radios. You know, why not? We'll bring our walkie-talkies and just, you know, try to find a boy and talk at the same time on the radio, which would have been really fun. But I saw the post, it was like midnight. I was like, oh, okay, that was posted at 7 p.m., so it's too late. It would have been fun though. I really hope they find the guy, the kid. Really, kind of weird. What's happening? Yeah, why not, KC Red Dragon? Everything's possible. Gary Golden says, I need something to get rid of growing light noise here. You know, that is one of the major problems. We get noise and noise, more noise. You know what? It's creeping on the frequencies slowly. But the other day when I was actually tuning the bands, I was looking at all the noise I've got right now, and I was thinking, man, I don't know if it's just me, but I have the impression that the noise level gets higher and higher slowly, month by month, year by year. It's noisier than the year before. You know, it's noisier than it was when I actually moved here 18 years ago. But I don't know. It's the noise is our big enemy. Luis Arevalo says, do shortwave stations pick any frequencies they want to transmit, or they have their own? Just curious. That's a good question. A lot of people don't know it's done. Actually, there's a thing called the HFCC, which is the High Frequency Coordination something. What happens is, technically, every shortwave stations will submit the frequencies they want to use for the schedule season. So, for example, we are ending the winter schedule season in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we will be in the summer season for frequencies. So that means stations will change frequencies. What they do is they submit the frequencies. And the HFCC looks at the frequencies, and if there's a clashing between two stations on the same frequency, what they're going to do is simply go and, you know, tell the station, well, you know, you got to choose another one because there's already somebody there. So a lot of stations like to choose the same frequency year after year for a very simple reason. Not just that because it's a known frequency that propagates well, but also because it's easier for the listener. So if you always remember that Radio Romania uses 9730 in the summertime, and year after year, in your head gets there. It's like, okay, yeah, they're probably on 9730, even if you don't know the schedule, if you remember the last year before. So it happens a lot like that. But there are some rogue stations, and one great example is Radio Havana, Cuba, that does not participate in HFCC, and that just decides, hey, today I want to be on 11645. What the hell? And often Radio Havana, Cuba has been interfering with others. A great example, a couple of years ago, I was mad as hell because there was a period of time where All India Radio was coming in really well on 11670. And I still remember one evening, I tuned to 1160 and I get this Spanish language Radio Havana, Cuba on the frequency. And I could hear below it the All India Radio signal also. And I was like, man, I am mad as hell at Radio Havana, Cuba that's not, not using the rules, not abiding by the rules. They just do whatever they want. So, that, unfortunately, it's not just Radio Havana, Cuba. There are a few stations out there that just broadcast on whatever the frequency they want to use. They don't really care about the rest. But for the most part, like I said, it's a thing about stations sending in their frequencies they're going to use for the next schedule season, fixing the clashes so that no two stations operate on the same frequency, because two stations can operate on the same frequency at the same time if they're targeting different areas. So if China Radio International targets Asia with a signal on 9700 at 1200 UT, and we get Radio Romania that wants to target Europe on 9700 at 1200 UT, they will be allowed because they're targeting different areas, which means the chances of interference is low, but it's not zero. And we've got to remember that it's not zero. It does happen sometimes when propagation is weird or propagation is really good, that two stations that are technically not supposed to clash on that frequency on some target areas, you'll hear that the two stations at the same time. But technically they have they are coordinated, and they have, and that's why the HFCC website, hfcc.org, will issue, for example, if you go on hfcc.org, they already have a list of what it looks like for the summer or the A18, A2018 schedule season. They already have a lot of stations that have sent in some frequencies. One of the things that's very interesting on the HFCC list also is that there are stations that are not on shortwave anymore, but that still ask for frequencies and times. One example, Voice of Russia, has not been on the air for a long time, but they, I don't know if they think that someday they're going to come back. They've been every scheduled season sending in frequencies and times that they're going to use, but they're never there. They're not broadcasting. So there is a coordination of all of that. EBE, nice to have you on board, and cheers. David Snyder says 15 megahertz WWV S9 above the noise floor in Staten Island, New York. So very weak. I was hearing it very weak earlier. Very, very, very weak. And by the way, guys, I have a little radio coming soon. A nice viewer of my channel has purchased a XH Data D38, I believe is the model. It's a cheap shortwave radio. And he says, hey, give me your postal address. I'm going to send you a little radio. And I just got my tax return, and I actually wanted to try to get, I don't know, does anybody have a really good place to buy the XH Data D808? Because the 4 or 5 places I looked at, it comes to like 200 Canadian dollars for that shortwave radio. I don't want to pay that amount for the XH Data D808. I don't want to. You know, I don't want to spend $200 on a shortwave radio. But if I could get it like at 100 or just below 100, I'd like to have one and of course review it. But what else is there? So. Because the Red Dragon needs to set up his rig blaster over on my ham. Bobby Burgess listened to the Super Bowl channel as well. Yeah, these are amazing. PLF Radio says, amateur radio. By the way, I'm a little far in the chat, guys, so if I'm answering a question of 15 minutes ago, don't worry, I'm getting there. PLF Radio, so AM mode for voice. Hams are able to do that, absolutely, and there's actually specific frequencies where there are AMers. For example, here in the evening, 3880, 3875, 3885, that little chunk of frequency. There's a lot of AMers from the northeastern U.S. states. Other frequencies like 7290. There are some AMers, 7295. Maybe we can hear something. Let's check it out. Nothing here. There's 14290. 295. There are some AMers there, and so it's one of the modes that they're allowed to broadcast. It's just that not a lot of people use that mode. The AMers are really dedicated amateur radio operators to the AM mode because of the richness of the voice. Because honestly, not a lot of amateur radio operators use it. It does also consume a lot more power off your transmitter, so not everybody does AM. And it's not as good of a mode to DX also. You see that the AMers are more of rack choose guys that just want to talk, and most of the time you have the same amateur radio operators that talk. Two hands on the radio. Hello there. Nice to have you here. And so we'll figure it out next week as we do the show on Friday. So and we'll actually do it throughout the show. So if the show lasts 3 or 4 hours, we'll every 30 minutes we'll do some change. I don't know, maybe somebody or a couple of you guys want to participate and be the ones that are going to choose the mode and the frequencies, and then get, everybody gets acquainted with, okay, so now we're going to do that, and that at that time. Or what we can also do is I give out a mode. That could be fun also. So I give out a mode, I give out a frequency, not a frequency, but a band. So say I'm going to say, okay, lower sideband 40 meters. And then some of you start looking at what frequencies are free and say, hey, okay, 7160, lower sideband. And that's going to be for 30 minutes. And then 30 minutes later, just before we get there, okay, PSK 31, 20 meter band. And maybe I could do it like that, and all you guys will have to do is say, what frequency, because you guys are the ones that are going to have to choose a frequency, obviously. That could be cool. So, what is there? To say, is the Montreal kid playing hide and seek? It's very weird that kid that's disappeared, because the police issued a Amber Alert when he disappeared. I think he was 14 years old. But the next morning they had removed the Amber Alert. So the police know something that obviously we don't know. And what happens is that they're still searching, and apparently he's been seen on a couple of security cameras from different areas where he actually lives and goes to school, which is kind of okay. That's weird. So I don't know. Richard Pattison, nice to have you here from Germany. Ravelda 65, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Really nice to have all of you here. So we'll do the Friday show next week for amateur radio, and we'll repeat it April 7th on the Saturday show, so everybody will have time to do it. Andrew J says, I'd love to listen to 7390 Radio New Zealand. However, every time 7395 from China kills it. Unfortunately, that's happening often. It really happens very often because of the frequencies they're chosen. I can tell you that. AliExpress, okay, I'm going to try it out, Pillar for Radio. I haven't seen it below. The lowest price for the XH data was here that I've seen of about 10 places that I looked at was including shipping like 180 Canadian dollars. I don't want to spend that kind of money. Luis Arevalo, there was no solar storm. It's fake news. I saw that news go everywhere. I mean, everybody was mentioning it on social medias like Facebook. Hey, Driver Films, nice to have you here. Everybody was mentioning it on Facebook, and I could see it everywhere, and it was complete nonsense. With the knowledge I have, I knew it was complete nonsense from the day I saw that. I said, no, there's no huge solar flare or anything. It was really fake news. Somebody took, because that article existed. It's a real article that was taken a few years back when there was a major solar storm, and copy and paste. And I don't know why somebody decided, hey, let's have fun and watch all of these people go crazy over my fake news or something. Just crazy. Oh man. Okay. What is there? Hey, Mr. Blackpool, nice to have you on board from the entertainment capital of the UK. So, yeah, Ham Nation. I haven't listened to or watched Am Nation in a while. Kind of like that. David Punham says, what frequencies for California? What exactly is the question, David? Andrew J says, Amazon in Italy, 79 euros. XH data, D108. I'm in Canada, tempted to get my cousin to buy it and ship it to me. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to check it out. Hey, Fabrice Simonet, nice to have you here, and I'm very happy to have helped you out. No problem. 7205, I do believe, is channel radio. 7205 is in French. So let's check it out here. And go to 7205. And, oops. Control F. There we go. 7205. And Channel Radio International. What do we have? We're at 2000 now. So it's, oh, Radio France. Okay. It's Radio France International in French on 7205 to West Africa. Not super strong, but enough to actually understand. So 7205 is Radio France International to West Africa. Do you listen to a scanner there? Yeah, sometimes. But on the last Friday of each month, we have our scanner radio show, VHF, UHF. So if you want to join in and have fun. But yeah, from time to time, I do. Absolutely. 11820 is 11820 is Saudi Arabia, by the way. So it's kind of nice to have everybody here. So it's pretty cool, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with that in the amateur radio special on Friday. I think it's gonna be pretty cool, So you know, shine up your gear and make sure that it's ready to rock. So Fabrice got RFI 2 at 7205. Richard's not receiving 7205. Well, it's opposite to you. So from France, it's broadcasting towards Africa. So I mean, probably that's why you're not receiving it. And also, there could be a possibility that it's skipping over you, Richard. That's totally possible, honestly. So nice to have everybody here. Okay, we're already almost an hour in the show. It's incredible how time flies when I do these things. So yeah, the solar flare was fake news. Remember that in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have a frequency change for shortwave stations. So get ready, because you will actually have to remember what are the new frequencies for every station that you actually enjoy listening to. It's going to be very, very cool and pretty interesting. It's going to be nice to see. Hopefully not too many stations will, you know, go away. You guys in the United States have a something interesting happening with your medium wave FM stations because of High Art Media that actually has declared bankruptcy, and it owns 800, I read this morning, 890 radio stations in the United States. That's going to be interesting to see how it changes the AM FM radio map in the United States, because you know, 890 stations is a lot of stations. Some of them really popular, and really some of the big gun stations also. So I don't know, this is going to be interesting. I mean, that I can't believe that, you know, they let companies run such high debt. $20 billion they owe. Just crazy, and didn't have any money to pay now. So that's going to be an interesting one also. So hey everyone, we're going to just going to show you a little bit. If you guys want to help me out, by the way, quickly, you can help me out. PayPal, paypal.me/shortwave, not .com, .me, or if you want to donate a little something at the Yahoo email that you see here. You can also become a patron and join 9 patrons right now that actually are giving me a little something every month. Patreon.com/radio and computers, and basically give me a little something if you wish. It's most welcome, helps me a lot. Actually, I heard, remember guys, a couple of weeks back I was giving away part of my donations to Glenn Hauser, and actually Glenn Hauser's World of Radio this week in the mid show mentioned my name. So it's going to be very interesting. So you know, he's got his little amount of money that we share together. So it's Kind of interesting. My DX 7220 says Voice of Vietnam. That's interesting. Vianney says Radio France 7205. Good reception signal here too. You know, if it wasn't for the noise, I would be able to. I'd be able to listen to 7205 quite easily. It's really the noise here that's breaking 7205 for Radio France. David Arden says Art Media used to own over 1,000 stations when they were clear channel. I would much rather have more local owners with their own programming. Unfortunately, you know what? That is the biggest problem. Is that unfortunately the radio market today, having small local owners is something that's disappearing. And we're getting more and more of these big guns that buy tons of stations, and you know, we have just the same drab and annoying programming that you know, I don't know what's interesting in the radio scene, honestly, is they keep buying stations and doing kind of a same overall programming everywhere. But when you look at, you know, people like me and a lot of you guys probably, you kind of find out that, well, you know what, the local stations are boring now. And I'm sure a lot of us don't even listen to the stations as much as we used to because of the fact that it's become more of a general thing and less of a, you know, it's very simple. If I go back in time here for radio, when I was young, you would listen to a station for a specific guy or girl that would do a specific show. People would gather and listen to the radio because there was something and it was unique to that station. And now it's getting bigger and it's getting more of a general whatever. And it's just, what the hell, you know? It's not as interesting to listen to. You know, when I listen, I regularly scan the medium wave band at night. I like checking out what stations we can hear on medium wave, on AM. And I hear a lot of US stations, and you know what? You go through all the frequencies, and it's like the same dram thing all over the band. Not counting that you'll hear 2, 3, 4 frequencies that will actually be, you know, the same program. So you switch from, you know, 10 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz, and basically you have, you know, 3 frequencies that have this exact same programming. You know, it's like really coast to coast stuff, just crazy. My DX, okay, David Green says, I wouldn't mind commercial medium wave was us, so I can hear more international stations. Yeah, but also the noise will prevent a lot of that. My DX says 6880 pipe tune numbers interval signal. Huh, kind of interesting. That's kind of weird. 6880. Do you have anything here? Nothing here. Really nothing in there. PLF Radio says, I still don't understand why I can hear RFI on 7205 only from the end of winter to the end of summer. Okay, well that has to do with propagation. So here's Mr. Cat, by the way, for everybody that wants to say hello to Mr. Cat. And let me just see if it's ever not bad. Yeah, it's okay. So this is Mr. Paul saying hi to everybody. So PLF Radio, what's happening on the bands with that is that 7205 or whatever frequency on shortwave is a lot of those are dependent on the time of year. Propagation changes because as the seasons change the solar radiation of the ionosphere, some frequencies will propagate at specific times to you, but not at others. And even a frequency that's 24 hours, you know, not 24 hours, but 365 days, will say, you know, you'll hear it, but just a specific amount of time. For example, I hear 7490 WBCQ much more often in the summertime than I hear it in the winter time. It all has to do, once again, with propagation, the skip zone, or the range of, just go like this. So the range of the frequencies will propagate differently in the summer and the winter time. It really all has to do, it's very, very complex. Another example is, say the 10-meter band is open, and it would be open 365 days. What will happen is that at 365 days, I will hear a lot more stations in the wintertime than in the summertime. It all has to do with the way the ionosphere is rearranged with solar radiation. Remember that in the summertime, solar radiation in the northern hemisphere, for example, the sun is much higher. The ionosphere is thicker. It changes what frequencies you're listening to. It changes how the propagation works from a station to your area. And you'll hear stations in the summertime that you don't hear in the wintertime. It all has to do with that. The changing of the ionosphere with the seasons, solar radiation, and very often also, often you will have, if the solar activity changes, if there's more activity on the sun, you might hear stuff that you don't hear usually, and so on. So that's the way it works. It's really propagation kicking in, and you see, when you listen for years, like I've done, you eventually have a pattern that shows up. You understand that, okay, this is the pattern for receiving this station at that time. WBC Q7490 will be easier for me in June, July, and August. Almost impossible to hear in the winter. Same for you. It's all has to do with the changing of the ionosphere, because it's different from season to season. But it does maintain a specific pattern that you can actually see over and over again. So you can, understand that, oh, well, I hear that station in the wintertime, I don't hear it in the summertime, or all sorts of little things like that. It's very, very interesting. The propagation is so special and so unique, that and the understanding of what will propagate to what area it's something. It's an art, basically, of just trying to understand. Fast Load, hey there, nice to have you here. I saw your post on Facebook, but way too late yesterday, about using walkie-talkies and trying to find that little kid. So, pretty nice. So everybody's saying hello to Mr. Paul. NL13851, hello there from the Netherlands, says he is hearing 6880 in the Netherlands. Pretty cool. Take care. Take care, Mike DX. It's nice to have you on board. What kind of radar is on 5270? 5270. I'll try to see if I hear anything here. But 5270. Okay, I'm getting it. There's that sweeping sound. It's actually a very, very wide sweeping sound. I wouldn't be surprised at some form of Kodar, because it has the sweep sound, and it's from about 5260 and goes all the way to 5280 easily. Sounds a little bit like some kind of Kodar, like on the lower band or even the higher bands. I wouldn't be surprised it's kind of a Kodar. Kodar are a type of radar that actually can measure the height of ocean waves. So I wouldn't be surprised it's a kind of Kodar. Absolutely. And it does sound, the sweep sound sounds like Kodar, honestly. 11 meter DX, nice to have you on board from down under. Pretty cool. And by the way, I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And Paul the cat just farted, and it smells like really bad. What the hell, man? Don't fart on me. It's disgusting. Oh man, this is so horrible. Oh, yeah. I know you're nice and everything, but don't fart like that. It's disgusting. Hey, John Ritson, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to have everybody on board, by the way. So, driver film Shortwave. Hey, yeah, Poop OS, no, Poop Cat. David in Barcelona. Oh, man. This is disgusting. What the hell are you doing, man? Don't do that. Go back in the living room. You're better there. Yeah, mass destruction cat. David in Barcelona. Nice to have you on board. And pretty cool to have you here. And don't forget, Fast Load, tomorrow 6 p.m. at the karaoke bar for my birthday. We're going to have a little supper. Is Isabel going to come? I hope. So he blames the cat. Bill says he blames the cat. Yeah, you know, it's like being in the subway or in the bus or in a public area and you fart and you start looking at others because you're like, you don't want nobody to think it's you. So you're looking at others like, that must be that guy, you know? Oh, God. Oh, man. Yes, I am. I am. I got beer. I got the fins of all today. Okay, Fastlow, no problem. No problem. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. A lot of fun tomorrow. You got to open the window. Yeah, I don't know. Wow. Don't fart again, man. I don't want to have that. So, David in Barcelona says, happy to live in a world in which live streaming of smells has still not been invented. I would love to share the sweet smells of Paul the Cat farts. Oh, man. It could be worse, you know. One night, he was like, he had his ass in my face. I wake up with his butt in my face. And he just farts like, as I just wake up, and I'm like, oh, God. Go away. No, well, AMDK2, nice to have you here. Well, actually, the bar we go to is not a bar that's going to have probably St. Patrick Day people. But yes, the bar downtown, the bars downtown Montreal will probably be packed with St. Patrick's Day people. Absolutely. So, you know. Gerald McNeil says, smelly cat, what are you feeding you? We're just feeding him cat food. So, you know. Cat food. Just crazy. You're a brave man to admit that. Cat.exe has crashed. Dumping process. Like that. So, man. So, anyways, once again, for those that have joined in a little later, yeah, John. Okay, it was me. So I just want to repeat for everybody that joined a little later that next Friday, we will be doing an amateur radio special. And all of you amateur radio operators in the chat and that watch me and through the week, for those that are not live right now but will see this show, Friday, 2000 hours UTC is amateur radio special. Anybody that is capable of broadcasting on the HF bands, we will be doing a 30-minute rolling schedule of you guys having contacts on the shortwave bands in different modes, different frequencies. So it's going to be a very interesting Friday. And for those that can't reach, we will repeat that experiment on April 7th, Saturday. So this Friday, every amateur radio operator that watches this show, try to be there. We'll have you guys having contacts. We'll try to tune in to all of you guys on the radio. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll do different modes. A single sideband. We'll have, digital modes. CW, heck, We'll try everything and different bands also, see propagation, and it's going to be a fun experiment, I think. PLF Radio, yeah, well, there is a, usually there is a parade downtown Montreal for St. Patrick's Day, because there are a lot of people, a lot of Irish people that that came here in the early days, and there's usually a pretty big parade, and it's one of the most popular parades I think we have here downtown Montreal, and it usually has a lot of people there. Absolutely. So, you know. Driver from says, going to try and get on 20 meters in the next 2 weeks. Just need to start the end-fed antenna out. So anyways, you know, I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And, you know, all of you guys, amateur radio guys out there, try to join in next Friday. And what we'll do is probably do kind of a schedule of, you know, every 30 minutes we're going to have one of you guys choose a frequency and a mode. So, like I said, maybe I would say, okay, maybe I'll choose a mode and you guys can choose the frequency in you know, try to have contacts. And, of course, you know, single sideband, digital modes, maybe slow scan TV. All of that, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Having you guys have contacts together live on the show also. And we can actually receive them here, and some of, you know, a lot of the listeners that are not amateur radio operators, it's going to be cool because they'll be able to use their radios and tune in and try to get you guys, you know, as your guys are transmitting on the HF band. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, honestly, a lot of fun. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you here from Greenfield Park. Always cool to have you on board, and really nice. So 2 dates to remember for every amateur radio operators. Remember, next Friday, February the 23rd, is amateur radio special. I want you guys to have contacts. Starts at 2000 hours UTC. And we are repeating the experiment on a Saturday, April 7th at 2000 hours UTC. And next Saturday, March the 24th, is Pirate Radio Special, and I have a feeling that there's a pirate station that will be rebroadcasting my Pirate Radio Special, and of course the flag is going to make its return to the wall here. It's going to be there because we want to have the pirate flag up, of course, to, you know, kind of like and love Pirate Radio. I love Pirate Radio, and every time I talk about it, there's always somebody saying, well, you dare talking about pirate radios, those illegal broadcasters, and, you know, well, yeah, I know, but still, I love pirate radio. So, hey guys, beer number 2 at an hour and 13 minutes, not too bad. Paul the cat is looking at the beer, smelling the beer. Want to have some beer? Yeah, you already smell too much. So, whoa, that one is making a big color here. So, I got cat air everywhere now, because Paul is here. Andu Coley, nice to have you here, 2E0REE. So, there's a lot of, will be a lot of fun, I think, honestly. SWL60N, checking in, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Rudy Van Dalen. And he's P83GQW. Nice to have you here. And yes, we are in VE land here. Absolutely. Nice to have everybody here. Yeah, I don't know. I say February all the time because I don't know why. It was even worse at the beginning of the show, and I was saying June. It was like, what? So let's reset. We are going to have the live show. Amateur radio show Friday, March 23rd. Next Friday, 2000 hours UTC. It will be repeated on Saturday, April 7th. And we will have our Pirate Radio special Saturday of next week, March the 24th. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun. A lot of fun with all of that. So Bill K3WDR, sunset in Maryland. It's at 7:15 p.m. tonight. Yeah, you know what? At least there's one thing I like about the fact that we moved our clocks ahead. It stays daytime a little longer in the evening, and I like that. Yes, Sheldon. It's not the first time I'm wearing it, but yes, this is the CKUT shirt. Absolutely. Why not wear? Actually, I was looking through my shirts and I said, hey, it's a radio show today. I'm going to put my radio t-shirt. Why not? Why not? And one of the things I just want to say is in a couple of weeks, I'm going to tease you guys with a little something. In a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks from now, I will actually have a t-shirt that I've actually ordered and is being done right now. I'm checking out how it's going to come out, but I might have like 20 t-shirts to offer to all of you. I don't know what price is going to be yet. But it will be the official Shortwave channel t-shirt, which will feature a radio and Paul the Cat, of course. So we'll be coming back at you guys with a couple of I've kind of made our ask for about 20 or 30 of them. So it's going to be a very cute t-shirt, and it's going to be a good t-shirt. So the thing is it's going to be a little expensive because I don't want to have a cheaply made t-shirt. I want to have a good quality t-shirt. So in a few weeks time, it's coming, and you guys might want to order one. It's going to be one of the little things that it's going to be the first of a series of different little things through the year this year that I'll be offering for people that, you know, feel that they want to have a little part of the official Shortwave channel. So and the t-shirt features Paul the Cat and Shortwave radios. So you guys gonna be fun to see you guys with the design of the t-shirt. What else do we have? Rudy Van Dalen, please play a wee bit of Enver Signals online. Yeah, well, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check that out, Rudy. Jerry says Wolverine will play St. Paddy's Day special for sure. Casey Red Dragon says there's some SSTV on 14230. Let's just try it out here. 14230. Tune around. Yes, I know, Fast Load, you want one. I am not surprised that you want one. Yeah, I hear it very, very weak. I do hear there's a very small signal. Very small signal. But we'll leave it there a little bit, see if we can hear some slow scan TV on 14230 or around. To answer radio. Right now, well, no, you're not going to have one right now, or we're not going to have one tomorrow. And if you continue like that, I'll smack you tomorrow. The K2 says, should be lots of pirates doing that team unless conditions are too lousy. Yeah, there will, you know, every time they're weekend there's something. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And, yeah, the pine glasses I am looking at, they will be sandblasted. I don't want to have something printed. I'm looking at coffee mugs, beer mugs, whatever, pine glasses that would be sandblasted, so that they, you know, stay nice forever, unless of course you drop them and break them, which then they'll be in a puzzle form. But oh man. So anyways, it's coming. It's coming. Okay. Well, actually, you know, most people do coffee mugs and stuff like that. And I did see the there's this company, I actually love it. there's a company. Actually, you know what? I am all for, local things and everything. But when you look at the prices that you get, I'm going to tell you one thing. I stumbled across one of the companies in China that offers to do sandblasted whatever, pints, beer mugs, coffee mugs, whatever. And it's like the price is so different. And you're like, well, okay, what do I do? But the difference, two differences. If you get it from China, first of all, if it's not done right, it's kind of complicated. Second of all, it takes 3 months to have whatever you ordered. So, I, of course, am looking at local companies that actually do it here. More expensive, but it's, at least if something is wrong, it's easier to deal with. So we'll be checking that out. What else do we have? Yeah, I do have a lot of harmonics. I actually have a lot of harmonics on some of these bands, and I have more today than I usually have. And I'm trying, I tried to find or kind of think of, is there something different that I've done? Because there's not that many usually. And I'm really curious because I didn't do anything different. I don't believe I have anything different. So I'm really, really curious as to where is that coming from. Maybe it's not even me. It's maybe, but in the 20-meter band, everything around 14, 15, 16 megahertz got a lot of harmonics on the frequency display. Absolutely. I can tell you that. J.D. Williamson, nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. Mr. Henry 1876, nice to have you on board. And review of the Kenwood R5000. I owned one for 20 years. Sheldon Harvey has one right now in this. It's a very, very good shortwave radio. But it has several flaws that you got to be careful about. So if you buy a used R5000, you got to make sure it doesn't have the dots problem, which is one of the big problems of the R5000. The gooey the wax that they put on the circuit mixes with the air and the humidity to create a acidic goo that technically ruins the circuit board a little bit. So what happens is the phase lock loop circuit loses lock, and because it can't lock anymore, it can't display the frequency. So you get the dots issue, and there's the Kenwood TS450, I believe, which is on the same design of the Kenwood R5000, that also suffers that problem. Key bounce is one issue, but that is easier to fix than many others. You just clean the keypad. But you got to be careful what you have. But as a shortwave radio, having owned it for 20 years, I can tell you it's one of the great tabletops out there. But it probably needs, when they get older, I think they need, and there's a lot of on eBay, there's a lot of people selling, capacitors to recap the R5000, or, I think it's going to be, Jerry DX, how about a t-shirt and a Freddie Grant giveaway? Yeah, why not give my Icon R8500 at the same time, Jerry? Let's do a giveaway of all the shortwave radios I've got. MDK2, yes, I did see your post about the A18 HFCC schedules, absolutely. And we were talking about that a little earlier because somebody was asking, how stations choose their frequencies. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's going to be interesting to see the different stations, and let's hope we don't lose too many shortwave stations there. David says, Nigel, just an idea, if you want to expand your offer of merchandise, you could sell mugs or customize USB sticks for shortwave recordings. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a lot of ideas actually. So I will be checking that out. I can tell you that. So you know, yeah, mugs, a puzzle mug. Drop your mug, and now you gotta actually, I got a shortwave puzzle mug. But almost everybody do coffee mugs, and I guess it has to do with maybe the fact also that a lot of people drink coffee. But pint glasses would be nice, absolutely. Especially, you know, I do drink beer, and a lot of people drink beer, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. The official Shortwave channel store opening soon. Actually, you know what, Jerry? I actually am looking at opening a little site on Amazon, maybe having my own radio and tech-related little store on Amazon, so that it makes it easier for me to do the, you know, if people want to buy stuff, the transactions and everything, because they take care of everything. So there's something like that, maybe. PLF Radio says Radio Romania on 7375, very strong. I believe in 5 minutes we're going to have Radio Romanian English, I think, 2130, I believe is 6170. The Driver Shortwave says, I just do t-shirts and hoodies, not that have had chance to do a load of designs. So, you know, I want to have particular designs, and all of my designs will include shortwave or radio related stuff and Paul the Cat, which is a very popular cat now. So, Jerry says, I don't want to drink out of a lead-coated mug from China. No, it's just crazy. You know, there is a restaurant that I go to here, not very far, and they have beautiful calendars every year. So when the year, you know, when we get in December, I always go there and eat my favorite pizza, because they will have calendars, and I'll have a few calendars. And the guy, one day I went there, and I was the only client, because, you know, it was one of those, like on Monday, you know, like nobody goes there on Mondays, or almost. And the guy was talking to me, and I said, hey, your calendars are really beautiful, they must cost a lot of money. And he was telling me that he looked here in Quebec to have the calendars made, and he said here in Quebec they would cost to him minimum $3 per calendar. And he said, I can't afford that. So he looked to China. And in China, they make the calendars for 75 cents a calendar. And it's a calendar with color pictures and everything. And he was, so, you know, it's a huge difference. But I was telling him, I said, yeah, but the biggest problem with that is the last page. The last page, there's his restaurant menu is upside down. They had a mistake, so it's upside down. A few glitches like that, but he looked at me and he said, you know what? I'd rather live with the glitches like that, and you know. And also, he told me that in order to have his calendars for December, he has to order the calendars in July. So in July, he's got to remember, okay, I got to order the catalogs from China, the calendars from China, if I want them for the new year, because it takes 3 or 4 months before they actually arrive. So it's like, yeah, not the same price, but, you know, not the same quality, if you want. You know, it's not the same thing. But anyways, you know, when a company, because like, you know, the restaurant, it's sad because, you know, local businesses, it's much more interesting to, you know, buy from local businesses. But the problem is, you know, sometimes the price difference is so huge that it makes a difference between, well, I'll have 30 calendars or I'll have 300 calendars, you know, and it's just crazy. So, no, and don't worry, the t-shirts are not coming from China. The t-shirts are actually going to come from a very small business that's 10 minutes from here. It's an old guy that's been doing that for like 50 years or something. He's like 80 years old. I don't know. When you go there, he looks like this old man that you have the impression he lives in a cave. It's like he's bearded up to here, and it's like, did I enter some new and unknown world here? Every time you go down, it's like, wow. But I'm sure he's not 80. He looks like 80, but he's not 80. He's probably like 50 years old. But his business has been there for a long time. I think it on the outside it says he's been there for like since 1972 or something, you know. But I tell you guys, I have the impression of getting into a cave when I see that guy with the big beard, big white beard, you know. And one of the funniest moments I was thinking about is the first time I got there was in summertime, and the guy arrives and he had actually a red shirt and a big beard, white beard, and I said, "Oh, this is where Santa is in the summertime. He prints T-shirts." Oh man. So you know. Calvin's just got the SDR Play 2 Pro going, and it receives well. Yeah, it is an amazing. And by the way, Radio Romania 6170.
Romanian people for the first time in a row, the Polish cycle welcomed the most difficult factor.
So, what else do we have? Yeah, you know, fast load, there's a lot of things. I have a few new gadgets in here, and I'm wondering if maybe one of the gadgets, you know, like the Google Home Mini here. I was thinking the other day, oh, does it do something? Because I thought it had more noise, but it doesn't seem like the Google Home Mini here doesn't seem to be, you know, doing anything. I wonder what happens if I ask it to play interval signals. Do you think it's going to work? I just thought about that now. Can I ask my Google Home Mini to play interval signals, do you think? Yeah, it could be a power supply, J.D. Williamson. But you know what? Here I am very, very careful. Usually when I buy stuff, I plug it in and I look at, is there something different in the waterfall or in the noise level? And example, today is a day where there's several builds of Windows 10. One is a skip ahead. The skip ahead I have on the laptop that's in the back of my chair here. I haven't started that yet because that laptop, if I plug it in, I am not going to be able to listen to shortwave anymore. So I thought, okay, well, I'll start that skip ahead build after the show because it's just going to wipe out the shortwave bands. So I unplugged the laptop for now. J.D. Williamson, isn't the R5000 receiver the same as TS440? Yeah, 440 or 450? Something like that. TS440, Bill says. Cool. TS440. There, I believe there's a little difference, but the receiver side is close to the TS440, absolutely. So, Sheldon says, 2 requests for sample CIDX bulletin from the show today. Samples already sent out. And don't worry, guys. If you want to have a fantastic bulletin, which is the CIDX, the Canadian International EX Club Bulletin, it is a beautiful publication, and you can ask for a sample copy. CIDXclub@yahoo.com is the place where you ask it. Don't forget, Sheldon has an excellent show called the International Radio Report, where I was happy to be there for 3 weeks in a row on ckut.ca for those that are not in Montreal. You can listen to that on Sundays at 14:30 UTC streaming. You can also go to the archive on the page, listen in to the past 3 months worth of shows, and it's always an excellent show where I will be from now on, off and on, participating quite regularly. I want to be there. I would have been there Sunday, honestly, but because tomorrow night is my birthday party at a bar, I thought it's not a good idea to be on a Sunday morning in a radio show. So I'll postpone that for a week or two. But I'm going to be back soon. And regularly, I kind of find it fun to be there. So check that out, the International Radio Report. They have a Facebook page, by the way, if you want to be a friend of the International Radio Report on Facebook. Just search for International Radio Report and join the page. And Sheldon is you know, a amazing person that dedicates a lot of his time to radio, and it's pretty cool. Sheldon says, I have the DOTS problem on his Kenmore 5000 right now. It's an intermittent problem. Yeah, you know, it's very easy. It's because the switches on the buttons get dirty. So basically, when you press a button, the contact is not good. So it's like sending, you know, 8 or 10 requests sometimes, but not always. And I had that going on my R5000 also. I can tell you that. So, you know. McGlone, hey there, nice to have you on board. Very cold in Florida lately. Very cold, apparently. Well, sorry guys, my feet is actually hitting the camera. Hope it's still placed well. Let's just align this. There we go. Nice to have everybody here. Sheldon Harvey, Paul the Cat calendar. Yeah, you know what? That would be popular. I could call it Paul the Cat sexy calendar. This is Paul the Cat sexy calendar. Yeah, that would be a great idea. It could be fun also. I think some people would buy like a, you know, like I've seen amateur radio calendars and all of these big gun radios. A shortwave radio calendar with all the latest, you know, portable models or something. I think some people would buy that. All sorts of things like that could be cool. Yeah, I saw the KBS World Radio to in English North America in the afternoon. Kind of interesting. Boy, you know what? I think KBS World Radio needs to really use relays. I don't know. Why don't they buy relay time on WRMI? I mean, they use a frequency that you barely hear and almost never hear, 15575, unless, you know, propagation is exceptional. You know, I get it. It's cool to receive KBS World Radio direct from South Korea, but come on. You know, at some point you're like, you're not making it in North America in the winter time with the low solar flux right now. 15575 is really difficult to get across. At least, you know what? Radio Thailand actually has a better service for choosing frequencies than KBS. At least they changed their winter and summertime frequency. You know? It's like, what the hell? You know? Richard Cook's got WWN 15610. He's got Radio Romania 6170. David Snyder's got the infrared signal of Radio Romania, so Radio Romania 7375. Let's try 7375 here. And here it is.
A medical team immediately came to examine your schedule. Unfortunately, his overall condition is good. No frostbite.
7375, Radio Romania also. Pretty cool. Mr. Henry 1876, I really appreciate your review of your advices. Keep the channel, and I'm a fan. And thank you very much. PP2QN, Papa 2 QN I. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool. No, QN. It's not an I. It's a exclamation point. Sorry. So you know. Where's the transmitter? Radio Romania is direct from Romania. David Snyder. David in Barcelona says, I've seen a Texan radio somewhere with a CRI logo on it. I think they gave them away to listeners of theirs in remote areas. I wonder how possible would it be to, you know, contact Texan and logo the batch of radios with a certain model. Yeah, that's possible. I don't have the budget of China Radio International, but yeah, that would be possible. You know, I actually have Texan Radios is actually following me on Twitter. So, you know, maybe we can work out something. They sure know what I'm doing anyways, you know. Somebody says, give work to your people first. I won't blame you on that. Yeah, Yeah. John Young says, I hope some of those medium wave American stations go back to local ownership after the Clear Channel fiasco. You know, that's going to be a big problem because honestly, private or local ownership of stations is something that's going away. It costs so much money to operate radio stations, honestly. It's making it almost impossible to operate one today without having these big gun companies purchase all of that. Yeah, let's try it out. Okay. Okay, Google. Play Radio Romania International Interval Signal.
I looked for Romania International Interval Signal on Google Play Music, but it either isn't available or can't be played right now.
It's unavailable or it can't be played right now. Of course, I could do another thing. I could say, okay, Google, play Radio Romania International Interval Signal on YouTube.
Sorry, YouTube Music isn't available in
Man,
your country.
Okay. Play, okay, Google, play Radio Romania International Interval Signal video on YouTube.
Sure, playing Radio Romania International Interval Signal
Look at
videos from YouTube on Living Room.
That works. Let's see what it brings up.
Interval signal, shortwave radio.
From RadioNet R.
If not, I'll correct that. Anyway, here we go.
So like that you can ask it, but apart from that, okay Google, stop video. Before I get some kind of copyright notice or whatever. So anyways, we'll go back to GMI2. Oh man. So anyways, that was an interesting experiment. PLF Radio says Radio Romania 7310, so that's another frequency they're using.
Și se înceapă să-și impregnați natural persons in Romania can go as from now to the authorized producers and to start collecting the documents which are necessary for purchasing a new car, a vehicle from the Euro 6 generation, a fully electric car or a plug-in hybrid car. The program.
David Green says, I stumbled upon your Halloween video from, I think, 2016, and you were wearing some merch from China Radio International. Yes, I can't even... Where you got those, but it was good for a laugh. Yeah, I've got a... Here it goes. Look at that, guys. We're going to do a little special here. Look at that. Oh, man. I'm coming up with... Here we go. I will be wearing tonight my official jacket from China Radio International that is way too small for my size, and it is in extra large, so it gives you an idea of Chinese people are kind of small compared to North American guys. But China Radio International, here we go. So the story behind this, and many merchandise, I've got tons of things here from China Radio International. Back in 2005, 6 or 7, somewhere around there, they were asking for monitors to send in reports every week on their signal in North America, well, around the world. And once you sent a certain number of reports every week, and you had to do it every week, they would put you in an official monitor list. So I was an official monitor of China Radio International for, I don't know, 2 years. And to thank you about it, they actually would give you tons of gifts. I received tons of gifts from China Radio International. I received the jacket. I received exercise gear, headband, wrist stuff for tennis playing, whatever. I received beautiful hand-painted bottles. I received beautiful Chinese stuff that is amazing, that I have somewhere in a box. But I received tons of these things, and that was from all the time of just being an official monitor of China Radio, and they would ask me all the time, you know, what you like, what you don't like, is the signal good, and it was constant. You had to be a lot of work in exchange, you know. So that's kind of where it comes from. So you know. Okay, let me just check out here. Yep, my birthday is coming up on Tuesday. Daniel Edward, nice to have you here. And my birthday is actually on Tuesday, March the 20th. Radioactive's receiving Radio New Zealand on 15720. I'm going to try it out, but I don't have a lot of... It's actually there. Very, very weak. Barely audible. There's a very thin line, but it's too early here. I can tell you that. Yep. On March 20th. Next Tuesday will be 49. So, you know. J.D. Williamson says, today I saw a ham radio 4K clock today in DX Engineering. The price made me cough, but boy, what a cool clock to look at. With daylight and nighttime graphics as a display. Yeah, well, it costs a lot of money to make those things. I can tell you that, you know. Absolutely, Sheldon. We're in the winter. We're getting back into winter. I mean, after a couple of weeks where it was like kind of okay, we got this snowstorm this week, and now it's going to be really cold for this time of year. I can tell you that. So PP2QN. Ah, man. Fabrice wants a PL6. I think they follow anybody that talks about their stuff, even if it's been for a while. I think they like to follow that. So, you know. SWL60N says there is a new, I think, digital Sony receiver, the ICF M780SL out there in Europe. Really nice. And it's really cool. So tomorrow night I'll be at the karaoke bar singing songs, getting drunk, and probably yeah, I got disconnected. I see it here. Interesting. Got a temporary disconnect. So Donald Horns Osner, nice to have you here from Michigan. Currently at a hotel in the Hamfest in the AM in Kalamazoo. So Don W8SWL, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Yeah, David Arden. I wonder what it does. Okay, Google. Play the official SWL channel on YouTube.
Sorry, YouTube music isn't available in
Why does it think I want to have music all the time? Okay, Google. Play the official SWL channel videos on YouTube.
Okay, playing the official SWL channel videos from YouTube
It works.
living room.
I'll have to stop it. There's an ad.
Welcome to this radio channel.
Okay, Google.
I want to share a
Okay, Google.
YouTube.
Stop video. That's the latest video I posted. That's the latest video I posted early this afternoon. Wow, it actually works. Okay. So don't forget, guys. And I'm sorry if all of you guys are now playing videos from my channel. Man. Take care, David Snyder. A free year supplies of rice. Okay. You know what, K3DY, Antoine? It's nice to have you here. The funniest thing, they asked me so many personal questions when I did that. I was telling one of my friends, you know, sometimes I'm starting to wonder if they're not asking or checking out if I could be a good spy for China or something. They really ask a lot of personal questions, I can tell you guys, you know. Not just, you know, what I work and what I do, but it was even, you know, getting to the point of, okay, but at your work where you have access to and work with what kind of, you know, companies or agencies or, you know, It was like, okay, am I being tested out to see if I could be a good Chinese spy or something? It was crazy. So, yep, thanks, David Green. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy when you think about it. Oh, man. Just crazy. Okay, what else is there? Thanks, everybody, for the birthday wishes, by the way. John Uta from Sweden. Sorry if I doesn't pronounce your name well, but nice to have you on board from Sweden. We got a few people from Sweden tonight. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern, I think, so it must be 6. And it's not a.m., I think it's p.m. probably. Probably. So, that would be really nice. Google, reduce my noise. I would like that. Can I be copyrighted for playing my own videos? Yeah, well, if I complain that I played my own videos, I'd like to see the face of the YouTube guy that's gonna like, you're complaining for copyright for your own, you know, whatever. Yeah, program in English, Radio Romania, David Snyder, 7310. Actually, 3 frequencies, 7310, 7375, and 6170. 6170 is better for me. Yeah, MDK2 was talking about the fact that, you know, that KBS World Radio, I think, should use a relay. They should relay from WRMI or something. It would, first of all, cost less, and at least we could hear them in North America. Let's cross our fingers that is going to happen for sure. Yeah, I'm going to sue myself. I'm going to complain to YouTube that I played my own YouTube. That is kind of okay. Hey, Rich Hill, nice to have you on board. Thank you very much for the nice comments and the birthday wishes. So, you know, it's just funny. It's just funny. So, oh God. So, anyways, you know, I gotta say, it was fun. It was a fun experiment, and it was that, you know, the time when China Radio International actually kind of started being bigger, and it actually showed China Radio International in, you know, had a lot of money to spend to do different things like that. So, you know, yeah, I should do that. Take a selfie and take, you know, let's do it right now live on the show. So here goes. I'm gonna take a selfie, and here we go. There we go, like this. And I'm wearing red, so you know what? It's like they're gonna think I'm really, really pro-communist China or something. Put the logo. Let's put the logo really nice. There we go. Look at that, guys. I just took a selfie for China Radio International. Should I send it in? You guys want me to send it in? This is what I look like on the picture. So do you guys want me to actually write email today and say I'm a big fan of China Radio and send it in? I will do it. Honestly, I will do it and see what's the response. Oh God, with the red shirt, they're gonna love me. You know, with the red shirt, I look like a communist or something, for sure, man. So, okay, I will send it in tonight. I promise I will send it in tonight, and we will see if there's a reply. What is the reply, okay? So, I'm a big fan of China Radio International. I should actually write, I'm a big fan of China Radio International and communism or something. And then, you know what? I'll have the federal police here come over and say, that guy from Montreal that does YouTube stuff, I think he's a communist. Maybe I'll disappear somehow. But I'm going to send it in. I'm not going to mention communism or anything. We'll leave it really, you know. But I can tell you that it's I'm going to send it in. Okay, as a big I'm going to say I'm a big fan of China Radio International programming, and that I'm proud listener of CRI, wearing my jacket every day, listening to the station. This is so bad. Oh man, yeah, MDK2. Well, you know, the biggest problem about KBS World Radio is in the morning they do beam to North America on 15575, but I have a really big impression that there's nobody there to coordinate and understand, and I even wonder if they understand what frequency they should use to actually propagate to North America. The biggest example of how when you choose a frequency well, it works, was Radio Australia. It's the other side of the world. I mean, it's really far away from Montreal and North America. And yet, that 9580 frequency was amazingly good and always good. And I think KBS World Radio can do the same thing, broadcasting direct from Korea. But you know what? I think they don't understand how to choose a frequency. So they leave it at 15575, thinking somehow that there's some magic in there. But the problem is, it doesn't really work. We can't hear the station. Crazy. Driver film shortwave. That is possible. I might get another jacket or some kind of gift. Absolutely. Where's my little red book? So, you know, it's like... I should ask to be on the round table program. Oh man. Yes, they will be proud. I'm sure they will be proud. They will like, oh wow, look at that guy from Canada. He's a real supporter of radio, China Radio International. Can they do that? Oh man. Yeah, you know what, K3DY, I do remember that YouTube user who went to work for CRI, and he was a follower of my channel. When that guy was was doing that and went to work for CRI, I don't remember his name, he was following me and sometimes commenting on some of my videos. I haven't heard from that guy in a long time, I'll tell you that. Hey, Wade Spencer, nice to have you on board from Alabama. Took the day off work to watch the live show. You took the day off work to watch my show. You know what? You were fantastic. Free t-shirt. No. But you know, it's cool. It's cool. And you know, nice to have everybody on board. It's just a lot of fun. God. 6135 as well. Oh, okay. Should have tried 6135. It's a little late now. So Jerry says he's already on their side wearing red on St. Patrick's Day. Oh man. MDK2 says, oh, I know all about 15575 1300, trust me, but if that HFCC thing is accurate, they'll be on it at 2200 hours. I miss Radio Australia on 17840 so much. I miss Radio Australia so much. Radio Australia was so, you know, there are stations, and when they leave, there's kind of a chunk of who you are as a shortwave listener that goes away. One of that was Radio Canada International, because I'm in Canada. So honestly, it touches you, because it's like, okay, so Canada will not have a voice to the world anymore, and you know, it's always to try to save money, but honestly, the cost of the shortwave broadcasting compared to the overall budget of any state is a very small thing. And then there are stations that disappear, and you're like, oh wow, okay. So Radio Australia was a little bit like that. When Radio Australia stopped broadcasting, I don't know, it took a little chunk away of my shortwave fun. It was like, well, okay, it's kind of cool to listen to Radio Australia, even though, okay, and I'll be very frank, I never like a station that, because of some reason, budget reason, decide that they broadcast the local, ABC, for example, for Australia was the local Australian Broadcasting Corporation, instead of unique shortwave stuff or Radio Australia stuff. Radio Canada International did the same thing. They stopped doing their own shows and concentrated on becoming a shortwave outlet for the CBC. I mean, that is very short-sighted, because honestly, you cannot broadcast the local stuff. Local stuff is for the local people here. I don't think somebody in Finland really cares about the traffic jam on Jacques Cartier Bridge here. They don't really care about that. Having unique programming that broadcasts to the world is giving a voice to any country. And let's face it, I always say it, I'm sorry, but when you lose that shortwave voice, nobody's gonna go on the internet. Raise your hands. Anybody that's not Canadian here, and even Canadian, raise your hand if you, in the last month, decided, hey, let's search for Canadian news and see what's happening in Canada. No one did that. No one, did I think this week of, oh, let's search for what's happening in Australia? No. But as a shortwave listener, I am interested in what's happening in the programming that tells me what's happening somewhere else. And shortwave was part of that. Shortwave's gone. I'm not typing, oh, are things going in Australia? Like, nobody's typing what's happening in, Canada, or, what's happening in the Netherlands since Radio Netherlands got away. What's happening in Sweden since Radio Sweden's gone away? Nobody's doing that. We don't really even know what's happening anymore. But when we had those voices on shortwave, we knew what's happening in different countries. There's a interesting aspect to the fact that you have a voice on shortwave. And I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. Oh God, David says, see, you're a YouTube live streaming star for shortwave listeners. Live streaming used to be pretty huge in China's internet. Lately it's kind of lost momentum. Yeah, but they have their own, internal things. I can tell you that. Oh man. Yeah, I think I disconnected, eh? No, I'm back. I'm back. Hey, shortwave guest, nice to have you on board. Says, anyone own a Texan PL 880? They are good. They are good. Yeah, I'm back, but I think you know what? I temporarily disconnected from the internet. I have seen it on two little places here. I've seen it on the IRC chat. Told me I was disconnected and connected back. And but I'm not connected with my usual name, so I'm not an admin anymore. And I saw the chat room disconnect temporarily, also. So, but the Texan PL 880 is not bad, honestly. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Global 24. One of the things that Global 24 and anybody, honestly, okay, I am seriously looking in a way of getting on the shortwave stations, broadcasting like WRMI, WBCQ, whatever. More WRMI. I'd say I'm more supportive of WRMI. I'm a little, I'd say a little pissed off at, the stations that still carry Brother Stair after all the allegations of all the things that he did. I mean, there's, money and money. You guys want to see what dirty money is? I could have accepted some deals that that have been proposed for this channel, and it would have been dirty money because I would have not been able to say that, oh, that radio is crappy, by the way. So, you know, I have a minimum. Okay, maybe I'll live poor for the rest of my life because of that, but I got a minimum of if I'm about to talk about shortwave, I want to be honest with everybody. If I'm about to talk about tech, I want to be honest with everybody. And it's not by taking dirty money. You know, what if Brother Stare would have said, hey, I'm going to give you $1,000 a month to give a list of all the frequencies of Brother Stare? Would you guys have enjoyed that? That I would spend 20 minutes listing out the different broadcasts of Brother Stare because I'm getting $1,000 a month? I would not think I would have so much listeners. I would probably have dropped in the viewership. You know, it's like taking dirty money. I don't know. Oh, man. But Global 24, and what I wanted to say with that is, if I am on a station, I'm not going to be broadcasting every week thinking that I will be funded, because shortwave isn't that, and shortwave will never be that. You're not making money on shortwave. You're not able to, you're not really able to monetize whatever you did. Whatever is happening on shortwave, you're just dedicated to shortwave and that's it. But you know, and everything is about money, Rachel. Everything. Every single thing is about money. Every single thing. You know, it's impossible. It's impossible to have, you know, anything today without thinking of the money thing. You know, just listening to CFRX count. Yeah. Oh, CFRX. You know, somebody asked me yesterday, PLF Radio, take care. Nice to have you on board. Somebody asked me yesterday. Let me just go into chat here, make sure I'm not missing out on anything. Boy, my PC is slow today. Unfortunately, I usually have 2 PCs, but I have only one today because they want to plug that one in, and I am missing a power supply, so I couldn't get the Linux machine working. Well, I would work on batteries, but I'd have maybe, like, you know, 2 hours of batteries and it would be over for the chat room. So I'm using my main laptop to stream, to chat, to everything. So it's a little overloaded right now. XNEDXer, Keegan, nice to have you on board. 77 and sunny in Arkansas. Wow. You know what's happening, David Arden? It says it is a shame because we are an external audience. Countries don't think we are important. Shortwave is my window to the world. Shortwave is a window to the world. And the problem is, you know, look at your respective countries, wherever you're living right now around the world. What does you and your government think about? The important thing it was happening in your country. The important thing is what you are getting from all the cash and all the taxes you're paying to your governments. And shortwave listeners were a very, very small chunk of the population. Okay? Most people, even in the 70s when shortwave was much more popular, even then, a shortwave listener was that special guy, that special girl. We were a small chunk, even in the 70s. So imagine today we're even a smaller chunk, probably. So the thing is, you've got your government with your budget. Part of it is screwing you, because pretty much every country we have the same shit happening. And part of it is doing the best they can with whatever amount of money is there. Honestly, if you would do in any country do you want to keep our shortwave service for $30 million a year, 90% of the people are going to say, what the hell is that? Why are you spending $30 million a year to have a station that talks to the other countries? People don't understand that. And people don't understand that it's a way of having the rest of the world understand who you are, whether it's propaganda or not. You know, if you listen to the Voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran, or what they call Voice of Justice when they're broadcasting, or when they were broadcasting to North America, I mean, it's in every shortwave station, and there's a part of it that is propaganda, selling our country and our ideology to the rest of the world. Yes, in part. But you know what? Even when you listen to the Voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran, okay, and I'll be very fair here, darn, there's a lot of crap in that broadcast. But yet, there's just enough to understand a little bit of the ideology of who they are. You know, let's go back in the 1980s, listening to Radio Moscow. You know, sorry for you guys in the US, but the Voice of America. There's a propaganda thing in there, mixed in with also very okay and correct programming. And I can bet you, even a American US listener in the time of the USSR, I can bet you a lot of US listeners, even though there was a big Cold War going on, I can bet you a lot of shortwave US listeners did kind of enjoy Radio Moscow programming to some extent. Yeah, thinking of all the propaganda, the communism, the whatever, but I can bet you I would not be surprised to some extent in there is still something cool. You can't tell me that no shortwave listener in the United States, and even in Canada, I mean, we were kind of pretty much, you know, together in all of this. How cool was it to have Radio Moscow in the USSR send you a letter to tell you that, oh, on these dates and times, we will answer your question on the air. All I can say is, I remember that was really cool, extra cool. I don't care they were communist. I don't care it was the USSR. It was really cool. It was like, man, Radio Moscow is going to answer my questions, you know? I don't know. There's so much out there. There's so much things. Andy K2 says, I've been scoping out possible new de-expedition sites the other day and found great place near Boulder. 8,400 feet up. No power lines or homes nearby. Real quiet. I've been thinking a lot about my de-expeditions for this summer. And I will do a lot of different spots. You know, in the past years I've done mostly Perry Island, but I will do a lot of different spots this year. And I will be going to the local park very often, doing little videos of what I can receive and everything. I think it's going to be a lot of fun there, for sure. You know, it's interesting. Yeah, David Arden, gotta respect. I gotta, yeah. Richard Cook's got 7780 WRMI, poor. That frequency doesn't work for me. 7780. I am so sad of having lost 11580. That really was a good one for me here, honestly. That one was really coming in really well. I'll try it here just for the fun of it. 7780. And yep. Very weak here. 7780. It doesn't come in well here. Should be a new state of shortwave. Nikita says, it's funny though, Joe, because I remember counting up the transmissions of Stair on shortwave.info and estimating that he had 275 to 300 broadcast hours every single day. in early 2017. I wouldn't be surprised. He was everywhere. He was everywhere. Everywhere. It's been a long day reading that out. Casey Red Dragon says 11790 coming in. 11790 right here. Let's check it out. Yeah, that is really good. What's that? Isn't that Madagascar World Voice or something? 11790. That is, and we're at 2200. What's that? Yeah, it's Madagascar World Voice Radio Feta in Arabic. And as we're here, let's check out. Is Brazil coming in on 780? Nope, no Brazil on 11780 right now. So Madagascar is really strong, 11790. Radio Feta. Brian Pinal, nice to have you here. With an SDR Play RSP2, which is fantastic. Extending the Xers at 11790, fitting in and out. Grunic S450 DLX. I need to get my Grunic 450 out. I was looking at it this morning and said, man, it's been a long time I haven't fired up the Grunic. You know. I don't think, you know what? Well, okay. What would that do? Another world war. Well, I don't want to have another world war, but would that make Shortwave back on top again? I don't know. I don't know if it would, honestly. K3DY says, I'm really excited as I have the new addition to my shack, the FRG 7700 from Yisu, with a matching tuner and active antenna. Was my dream radio when I was a kid. This is a nice radio. I remember watching pictures of the FRG 7700 and thinking how it looked like a cool shortwave radio. Can tell you that. So no, it's not a DRM 11790. It's just very strong. It's stationed from Madagascar. So nice to have you on board, Brian. So you know. Well, Zach Antle, let's not go into these things, you know, Islam and everything. Let's just keep it friendly and to the basic level. Not here to talk about religion. We're here to talk about shortwave radio, you know. And let's keep the religion stuff for some other shows. That I'm sure someone on YouTube is probably doing live shows talking about religion, you know. So there's, you know. Radioactive says, yes, the Voice of America is mostly propaganda. Yeah, well, part of it, you know, part of it. I mean, there's some nice and interesting stuff on Voice of America. I think I think anybody that's a very serious shortwave listener, listening to all these stations over the year, we get a sense of what propaganda is at some point. And we take what we want and we listen to what we want to listen to. You know, HTJB was a propaganda station in a sense. It made us listen to their broadcasts for a very simple reason. There was nice programming there, but it's very simple. The idea behind HTJB was, let's try to turn these guys into Christians and make them, you know, love Jesus. And that was the basic idea of HTJB. But they did it in a way that, you know, let's bring them some interesting broadcasts that these guys want to listen to. And try to, you know, give the propaganda of whatever, religion or whatever, you know. It was the same thing. Nice to have you on board, Mike DeVita. David Arden says, yes, VOA does propagandize. I don't think Radio Canada ever did. I would like VOA to be turned over to a more neutral organization. But there's one thing I will admit about Voice of America, okay? At least there's one thing that they do that a lot of other stations never do. And it is that when there are some point of views, they often will actually say in the broadcast, this will reflect the view of the U.S. government. So, whatever you think, wherever you are, they are still telling you this will reflect the views of the U.S. government. And I'm still happier to listen to Voice of America for a lot of things than a lot of other broadcasts that I've heard over the years, you know. I'd rather have VOA than have Brother Stare in the face, I can tell you that. I'll be glad to listen to VOA over Brother Stare anytime. John Young says, so John Young says, the USSR fell apart because of VOA, RFE, the Beatles, and Blue Jeans. Mostly fell apart because they didn't have money. You know, let's face it, there's a lot of things, and you know, you know what happened with the USSR and all of that was that the arms race. You know what mostly made these countries fall apart? The arms race was dreadfully expensive. It was very expensive for the United States also. But the United States had more cash. So what happened? The USSR ran out of money. It's mostly that, ran out of money, because I mean the top communist guys there didn't want to ever change that. There's a part of the USSR today that of Russia today, because it's not USSR anymore, that still thinks like that. And you know, I saw a documentary on Russia a couple of months back. Kind of interesting, you know. It's why is my what the hell is that? Somebody's calling me from the karaoke bar. What the hell? I'm gonna put the put this to 0. So, anyways, the idea is that even today, you know, there's some people that still think that we should go back to the USSR of the old days and everything. It's crazy, you know. But the biggest, you know, because of course, in any country, you know, even China, that was looking, one of the documentaries I did see, and it was about, you know, how the Chinese young generation finds ways to get to some of the Western movies and music and everything. And but at the most basic level, you know, why China is still able in a socialist, communist government to do something? They've just did one thing right. They've decided, let's turn this thing into a money-making country. And they did it really well. Why? Because of cheap labor mostly. But I mean, you know, that's why we're buying Texan radios today. It's not complicated. Hey, look at that Texan radio. It's just 75 bucks. Look at that Sony thing. It's 300 bucks. Okay, we'll buy the Texan thing. You know, we all fell to that thing. I mean, we all fell to the fact that, you know, we got cheap stuff from China. You know, that's why they are able to continue. The USSR did not have that. The USSR was not able to maintain that. It's money that really made everything fall apart, you know. Crooked Ninja, nice to have you here. Watch out for the crazy policewoman. Oh yeah, man, the bitch cop. I can tell you. Every time, you know, I went, what, twice to Perry Island only last year. I can tell you one thing. Every time I would see cops coming, it was, okay, is there the bitch cop tonight? Rick Restaurante says 11790 S5 in Sweden. Brian Pinaz got 7780 in New York. S9 plus 25. Take care, Dax Farrer 74. Michael Pereira, nice to have you here in Brazil. Jerry says Joe should start a shortwave camp in the yeah, we can do a DX camp in the dans les Appalaches. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. Yeah. XNA DX has got noise on 7780. Bobby Burgess got a Weeks 11790. So you know. Vianney Astanoa says 11790. Yeah, really strong in Eastern Quebec. So, you know, it's crazy what's happening. Just crazy, I can tell you that. Very, very strong, I gotta say. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would not say no to go to do some DX camp in the Rockies. I've never been there, and everybody tells me it's beautiful. We could do some DX camp in the Rockies. I wouldn't mind going to Colorado, visiting the WWV antenna field and station. That would be nice. You know, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Who had the more money won. That was mostly a big thing, but I mean, you know, it's very simple. Both countries were at very opposite ideologies, and no country budged. The USSR would not budge at all, budge in favor of, you know, whatever, and the US didn't. So money made that happen. Money was the thing that, okay, we're out of money now. Very simple, you know. Oh man, yeah, you know, just crazy. But any shortwave listener that's been listening for as long as I did, or even longer, I think we all agree with one thing. Even though there's a human aspect of the Cold War that is sad, any shortwave listener will tell you it was one of the best and the most beautiful times to be a shortwave listener ever. And there were so many stations, there were so many things then. It was a beautiful time to be a shortwave listener. I'm happy to have been part of that last period of time. When I got into the hobby, there was still a lot of stations and lots of things to listen to. Cold War was crazy times. Cold War was really crazy times. But it's sad for the human aspect of everything. People that suffered through all of that. People that couldn't, you know, unfortunately. But as a shortwave listener, that was amazing times. That was really beautiful time for any shortwave listener. Chernobyl had a huge impact. Absolutely. That cost them a lot of money. That cost them so much money. It is an interval signal, David Arden. It's the BBC interval signal on my phone. So, now usually the karaoke bar, when actually something like that happens, they don't want me to go sing now. They want me to go repair a computer or something. There's a panic in the place. Emergency computer repair before the Friday night evening is going over. So, you know. Oh, man. Piet Mondrian student. Nice to have you here. But, you know, it is very capitalist. You know, China is in the same wave as the United States, trying to make the most money possible, with a difference where the state is still communist. It's very, very unique, but it's also why it became so, you know, it can maintain the way that it is. You know, like the Chinese president or prime minister or whatever, look at that. Now he's got the okay to be there until whatever, until he dies. I mean, you know, that's not very, you know, that's not very, that's not okay in you know, terms of being fair, but who cares, as long as the people have what they want, you know? It's crazy. You know, Brian Pina, you know, cheap labor, we all been there. You know, let's face it. Let's go back 60 years. Canada and the United States, what were we exactly? Cheap labor. Why the hell do you think there were so many strikes and so many things happening in a certain period of time that raised the wages suddenly? Canada and the United States were very cheap labor in the 50s. That's one of the major reasons why we were, you know, the economy was going so well, in that everybody was working at a job doing something. Because we were cheap labor. Then there were strikes, there was all sorts of things that happened, and the wages started to go up. Because, let's face it, cheap labor is good for the company you work for. It's a bad thing for the worker that doesn't have enough to eat and pay rent and whatever. You know? It's very simple. Very simple. Now, we're not cheap labor anymore. China is cheap labor. Mexico is cheap labor. India is cheap labor. You know? It's moving around. And cheap labor is not a good thing for any country. Even China. Cheap labor is not a good thing for China. Its population will, you know, and as things go, the population in China will have strikes. You know, we've seen that already. Look at Foxconn, the company that makes all the electronic stuff we get. You know, very simple. You understand one thing is that at some point you can't continue like that, because cheap labor is bad for the people working. It's great for the companies, but not for the people. And things are changing all the time, you know. It's very, very simple. Things are totally changing. Okay, let's go down slowly. Wade Spencer, what's the creepiest thing you've ever heard on shortwave beside Brother Stare? There's a lot of creepy things on the internet. I mean, I remember, you know, like static signals on USB. There's a lot of creepy signals that you're like, what is that? It sounds so weird, you know. 10715 is probably HM0 on Cuba. Here we go. Wow, it's really strong tonight here. 10715 is the Cuban number station. So, you know. Jerry says the bitch cop would throw Jill in his slammer for wearing Sarah vest. Yeah, I can tell you that. John Young, off to the St. Ethos Beer Bash. Oh man, I want to be there. I want to be there. That must be really cool. Take care, have a lot of fun. Richard Cook's got HM01 on 10715. Donald Osmer, nice to have you here. Time for dinner. Don, W8SWL, was nice to have you on board. Pretty cool, you know. If you come to Colorado, come in September and we can take you to the Great American Beer Festival. I'd like that. That must be really cool. Jerry says, go to Colorado and DX on Rocky Mountain High. Always nice to have all of you here, and it's really cool. Slow Scan TV on 7073. Really, Casey Red Dragon? Yeah, it's an Emperor. It's pretty much that. He's the, you know, he can be there for life now. Enoch Nevdal, nice to have you on board, my friend. Crooked PA1WX, hey there, Alex from Netherlands, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. PA1SBM, Alex, for my Dutch Belgian friends tomorrow, the biggest ham fair is in Rosmalen. So go there. Ham fests are always cool. Always cool. Take care, Gary Golden, and we'll be back next week with the amateur radio special at 2000 hours UTC. Always nice. Igmar Klimhard, nice to have you here. Fans of shortwave radio and fans of, you know, we're great people. P1SBM says, I need to go. Promise chill at 90 antenna. Hey, don't worry about it, Alex. Don't worry about it. David Green says, oh my god, I tuned into the English service Chinese a Japanese program, and they were talking about a device that tells you when you have to use a bathroom. That would be if, you know, it would be if like my Google Home Mini here would tell me when I need to go poop. Hey Joe, you need to go poop now. Hey Joe, you need to go pee because you just drank 2 beers. Yeah, no problem, Alex. Don't worry about it too much. Eh? It's you know, when it arrives, and that's it. Don't worry about it. Oh man, good knife, good night, Mr. Rolf Bender. Always nice to have everybody on board. And don't forget, guys. Last time I'm gonna annoy all of you with that. PayPal.me/shortwave, and or the Yahoo email you see here if you want to help out. Patreon.com/radio and computers. It's you know, it helps me continue what I do, and I'm very intrigued by the fact that the phone number for the karaoke bar actually popped up on my phone for some reason. So anyways, nice to have everybody on board as usual, and thanks for those that have donated. I saw a few donations come through throughout the day. And for those that wonder, this week's Wall of Radio, Glenn Hauser is thanking me for the donations that were shared donations from a couple of weeks back that I promised I'd give Glenn Hauser. So it all happens thanks to all of you guys. I can tell you that. Wow, really strong HM01 number station from Cuba today. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So what else do we have? 637. Let me just check it out here. And hey guys, I will say goodbye, even though we're at 2 hours and 38 minutes, because I'm a little hungry and I want to take it easy for the rest of the day. I'm still having that kind of weird, you know, from the neck up, kind of a little pain here. So I think I'm gonna just take it easy for the night, and especially because I've got that, you know, that birthday party tomorrow at the bar. So I'm gonna have to standing on 7073. That's weird. Right smack in the middle of. I'm hearing FT8 from 7074, but not really anything on 7073. So I'm just going to take it easy, and I don't know what happened here. Anyways, if there's a real emergency, it'll come back, but it's not, you know, I don't think it's an emergency, because usually when the karaoke bar has a computer problem, they usually have the boss texts me and tells me, hey, there's a huge problem here. So, but Stanax should not be in the handband exactly. But I think it's yeah, I think it's 7074. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 7074, which is FT8 mode, honestly. Good knife sounds threatening. Yeah, David. Hey, good knife. You know, there's I was reading an article today about people that played. There's a study that they've done. People played Grand Theft Auto, which is kind of a violent game, and they said that after a year, they didn't see any difference in the way the people acted and everything. So you know, maybe playing too much of Grand Theft Auto is, you know, a good knife. So take care, everybody. It was nice to have you on board. Grenic Guy P, nice to have you here. Hope you're gonna come back. And don't forget, guys, next Friday, amateur radio special. Anybody that is an amateur radio operator that can broadcast on the HF bands, we will have contacts between you guys. We're going to try to do something and have all of you, and try to tune you guys here on the radio, and, you know, have a lot of fun. So Friday, March 23rd, 2000 hours UTC, Amateur Radio Special. Saturday, March 24th, Pirate Radio Special. So hope you guys are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be really cool. So, okay? Take care, everybody. And really, really love you all. It's an honor to have great fans like you guys. And without you guys, there would be no shows. I always like to say it because it is true. I'd be talking to myself, so I'd be probably, you know, I don't know, having a beer somewhere, thinking of my life being nothing. Without you guys, my life would be nothing. So you take care, everybody. Stay safe. Stay safe. You're going to sing tomorrow? Yeah, absolutely, Bobby. But the problem tomorrow, Bobby, is that I'll be shared because there's a private area in that bar. And for my birthday, me and my friends are in that private place. And you can't see that. But I will go to the front, sing a few songs, absolutely, Bobby. So you will be able to see it on the live cam in the bar if you want. Hey, Kimberly, K6YYL, take care. Even though it was brief, it's always nice to have you on board, Kimberly. Stay safe, everybody. Always nice to have you here. And thanks for being great fans. Okay? So take care, my friends. See you next week. 2 great shows coming up. Amateur Radio Special on Friday. And hey, Tree Hugger, take care. And great, have a great time, everybody. Okay, stay safe. Bye-bye, everyone.